Spring day, but what it is what it is. We're going to eventually get there. In the remote studio, we got my main man, Brother Vince. What's going on?
It's all good on this end, and guess what? There's a 30% chance of snow on Thursday. So,
man, get out of here. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. What you talking about?
Man,
What?
look, it's April in Cleveland, and you know, being a golfer, at least once upon a time, I was the enthusiastic golfer. But being a golfer, you always look at April because you're ready to get out, you know. And year after year after year, you look at those days where it's kind of cloudy or cool or rain or snow or whatever, and then you realize that spring, you know, it gets into full bloom halfway through May. So, you know,
Right.
It is what it is, but that's life on the North Coast.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, so anyway, we'll take it. This you know, hopefully 30% chance. I mean, a 70% chance that it won't. So let's meditate on that so we can keep moving forward. Yeah. So what kind of show we got lined up today, Vince?
Well, today we have one of Cleveland's luminaries. Her name is Chanelle R. McCloud, and she is the teacher wellness guru. And we're going to get to her in a moment. But before we do, I just want to encourage everyone to reach out to our brother Stephen E. Boyd. You know, he's out there on the streets and he's interacting with folks. And we're looking for sponsors for this radio program. This radio program is something that deserves the support from the community because of the service that it provides and the service that it can provide to you as an advertiser. We have a great audience, and you'll want to connect with them. So reach out to Stephen. You can see him or call him at 216-526-1297. That's 216-526-1297. Also, just want to let everyone know that we're going to continue our conversation with Ms. McCloud on StreamYard following this broadcast. So you'll be able to go to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, and you can check out page 2 of this broadcast today. So without any further ado, we welcome Chanelle McCloud, the teacher wellness guru. She inspires educators to greatness through professional development that's about them, and it's done from a teacher's perspective. In a day and age when we're practicing a new normal for our schools, some are now getting a sample of what educators experience, but teacher fatigue has been a brewing epidemic long before COVID-19. So let's talk about this with Chanelle. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Well, we're glad to have you. And, you know, you're no stranger to 360 Info Network. We've had you on before, and I've been privileged to have you at Larchmere Arts for your book launch, and we'll talk about your book as well. So this new normal that you talked about, what is the new normal for teachers and students as you see it?
Well, the educational environment has totally shifted because of COVID-19 in more ways than one. When we talk about the physical classroom, I'm working with some students at CSU who are interns at Cleveland Municipal School District. They're finishing up their licensure, and we talk about the fact that they're not supposed to get within 6 feet of their students. And I want you to think about that as an educator, as a person who knows about the fact that you want to help someone and you need to guide someone. 6 feet for a kindergartner, a first grader, actually anyone, to be able to guide them. How do you do that? How do you stick to these physical parameters while trying to be the best educator you can be? And state testing is still going on. I just want to let you know that. The standardized state testing is still going on this month. So how do you do that? So in regard to the social and emotional wellness, we know that we've lost millions of people. And those millions equal some of these students' parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. They also means that the teachers have lost aunts, uncles, parents, people that they care about. So we're kind of getting back into the swing of things, going back to school. A lot of districts are going back 5 days a week. But are we addressing this social and emotional wellness of our teachers, our principals, our students, and how they are dealing with the challenges that COVID has caused. In regard to economics, we know that, yes, there's been some stimulus, but we all know that when you're raising a family, and some of these students come from large families of 4, 5, 6 kids, $1,400 is not going to go the same way as it goes for one single person or a family of 3 where there's 2 parents that are receiving that. So if you don't have a job, or you're taking care of a parent, if you're a teacher taking care of a parent, and now you're back in the school and you're scared of bringing germs back home. I mean, I could go on and on about how it's changed the way that teaching is being done on a physical level, on a social and emotional level, and on a mental level.
Okay, and I'm also curious about the fact that you have a divide in our population over whether to take the vaccine or whether not to take the vaccine. And some teachers are wrestling with the idea that it's not something that they feel that they should be forced to do. What are you hearing and receiving from the teachers that you work with about that subject?
Well, as you said, it is definitely split. And among the teachers that I work with, we have teachers that are very willing and have already received. They were some of the first people to receive the vaccination after the doctors and the medical professionals and the seniors. So there were people that were in line and ready. And then there are people that are saying, I still am not comfortable. There's not enough research behind this, and I'm not going to be one of the first. I'm not comfortable with that. However, if there is no leniency, or you can't say, well, I'll just teach from home. No, you don't have the vaccine. You chose not to get the vaccine. You still go to school and you work with the students. If they are possibly may have COVID, they just do. You don't get that option. And for some people, they feel that is, their rights are being violated. Kind of way. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Their rights are being violated. And they don't feel like that is something that they should have to literally risk their life to work. And then for others, as you know, there are people that saying this is your job, and these students have been home long enough. And the students have an option to opt in, meaning that they go into school, which in the district that I used to work, about 60% of the population of students did return to school 5 days a week, but not the full day. They get out of school about 1:15, and 40% are staying home. But as it relates to the teachers, all the teachers have to return. They don't have that option. You return or you lose your job, unless you have some very extenuating circumstances that say that you need to stay home. But the average case is being denied.
Okay, so we're about to go to a break, but I just want to make sure I understand what you said. Are you saying that students are having the option to either stay at home or go to school, or are they going to be required to come to school regardless?
So at this point, in most districts that I'm aware of, you have an option to go face-to-face to school. Some of those are hybrid, which means that some days are face-to-face and some days you're doing asynchronous learning, which means that your learning is online and you just do it at your own pace. Then we have synchronous learning. This is the term that we've been using in education, which means that you're online with a teacher live. Yes, you're online, but you're live and your teacher is there and you expect it to be somewhere at that time. So most districts are offering that option.
Okay. All right.
At this point.
Okay. We're going to explore that in a bit more detail when we come back. You're listening to 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERE with Hamptonio and Vince Robinson. Our guest is Chanelle McCloud. She is the teacher wellness guru. We'll be right back. 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERE. And we have something that we haven't had for a while, and that is a caller, one of our favorites, our brother
He
Todd.
dropped.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, Todd he just missed his opportunity.
He said he's going to call. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll call back. So, Todd, if you want to give us a call back, we'll see if we can squeeze your question in. But I just wanted to pick up where we left off. You know, the teachers are going through it, the students are going through it. But one thing that I'm aware of is the fact that who is teaching our students is important too. And I know that statistically there are more white female teachers in the classroom than any others. And there is an issue with that. Could you talk a little bit about the implications of that paradigm?
So, as you mentioned, there's been a lot of research about the fact that marginalized students, and then I'll use that quotes around that because I like to refrain from those different terms.
Thank you.
Just for the sake of our conversation, and that. In the research, these are the terms that are being used, that, disproportionately marginalized students are having less success with teachers that are not from their background. And most teachers, as we know, in the United States of America are white females. And, Kawanta Kunjufu has talked about this for
Todd's back.
I want to say decades. So this is something that has been a challenge. Now, I do want to say that as of late, in school districts, they have been working to address this issue and be more open and have a dialogue, a critical dialogue, a courageous conversations about biases, about whether these biases are, purposeful or not done in a way that is, I don't want to say innocent, but just unknowingly ignorant. That's the word I'm looking for. So, which is, that's a true, statement. So, cultural responsiveness is something that is being brought to the classroom, is being brought to schools about how do I connect with my students and their background, learning and knowing that their background is an opportunity for me to grow as an individual and for our learning environment to grow. And I don't want us to just think about backgrounds or classrooms that are only white or only black. We're talking about different sexual orientations, different family orientations. Maybe there's two moms, maybe there's two dads. All kinds of cultural shifts that we need to maybe address and talk about and open up for learning. In New York City, I have some classes there in the New York Department of Education, and they have made it a requirement that all of our curriculum be culturally conscious, meaning that when we're teaching about math, that we are bringing a cultural consciousness to the math, that we are saying, are there African Americans or Asian Americans or Native Americans or whatever students that you're teaching, that we can bring their life, their experience, and most importantly, allow them to bring their experiences to the learning environment, that we're not just bringing all of ourselves, that we are creating or melding this learning environment as a group, collective. So this is being addressed. Now, can I say how effective it's been thus far? I don't know if the research has been implicated to this point to say that schools that have, implicated certain cultural responsiveness or cultural consciousness into the curriculum in a, like threaded in throughout the curriculum, not just talking about Black History Month. We're talking about in math, in science, in physical education, that we are always bringing the culture of the student and allowing them to share and learn and with their culture into the curriculum, how effective that's been if there's been a, white teacher, white female or white male teacher. I think that still is, we're out on that. We're still waiting for a definitive answer, but it's known, and it's also being evaluated. It's being evaluated more, where there was a time that wasn't being evaluated. But it's being evaluated in the classrooms. How are you being culturally responsive to the group of students that you're teaching?
Well, let's hope that this evaluation goes farther than the evaluation of reparations for African Americans, because now they're talking about it again, but they're not doing anything about it. We have a caller on the line that we want to welcome to the air, since it's been so long since we did this. So welcome to 360 Info, one of our favorite callers. Todd, you have a question.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, Vince and Chanelle. I have a question and two comments. So here's one of the comments. The reason why they keep losing is because property taxes is a strong part of the formula for funding taxpayer-funded neighborhood public schools is not unconstitutional. It is constitutional, and they should keep losing. But here's my question. Can you tell me to what degree have you found that weak parent participation and pushing the healthy nurturing of the curriculum has been a problem for teachers prior to the virus and currently? To what degree is poor parent participation in nurturing the curriculum being a contributor to the advancement of these students?
Thanks for your question.
And I have a comment. But go ahead. Let me hear the answer.
Well, we got 3 minutes, so.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I would definitely say that, of course, parent participation is a huge part of any child's development. I think that is very apparent that, for lack of a better word, that a parent's participation in education is needed for them to grow and develop. And in certain areas, there are different circumstances that may or may not allow a parent to be as involved as they may want to be, or maybe they may have certain stigmas about education. There are a plethora of reasons why in certain districts we have a stronger parent participation versus not. But of course, every teacher knows that parent participation is key to improving achievement.
And in closing, I'll say this. I heard you say that a lot of communities have a bad taste in their mouth about teachers. That's not what it is. For the most part, there's a bunch of spoiled brats as far as their attitude toward the public school system, and we take our public school system for granted. So you can never accommodate fully the ego of a spoiled brat, whether it be a child or an adult. They're going to always want you to continue to feed their ego, which is why you're still buying supplies and other things that a parent in neighborhoods should be supplying for the well-being of the taxpayer-funded neighborhood public schools. All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would just like to add to something that I heard the Reverend Jeremiah Wright say. If you can't connect, you can't correct. So you got to connect with the student. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Absolutely.
I have to go to the school of Malcolm X, and I think one of the main issues is that we have our young people in schools, and the oppressor is responsible for the schools, and the oppressor does not want the students to rise up to a point where they won't be oppressed anymore. So you limit what you teach them, and you give them a curriculum that doesn't really serve their needs. I mean, students coming through school systems should be learning about financial literacy. We have this whole new world of cryptocurrency right now. What are they learning about cryptocurrency in schools today?
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly that, and anybody that studied the history of education knows that education is meant to create workers. I mean, this is no secret. So the different trends, if you will, that happen in regard to, okay, we need college-ready people. Oh, no, we don't. Now we need people that are ready to do trades. It's all based on the workers that are needed. So, Vince, I definitely understand what you're saying, and it is so very, very true.
Yeah,
and that's why I go ahead.
But you also have the reality that jobs are disappearing. I mean, I posted a post on Facebook the other day of a robot that was moving boxes in a plant. You know, you look at what happened in Alabama last week. You know, the Amazon workers, some of them wanted to form a union and it got squashed really quickly, you know. So we have this idea, go to school, get an education, get a job, but the jobs aren't there. PhDs are unemployed. People with master's degrees are unemployed. People with MBAs are unemployed. You know, you have all these credentials, and then you go to a place to get a job, and they tell you you can't have it because you're overqualified. So the system is problematic, and some major changes need to be made.
You know,
and I would like to say the fact that I think that the key is there aren't jobs that allow you to have a sustainable living, because there are jobs.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think that's the key, because people, you know, if there are jobs. I mean, if you look around, there are jobs.
Okay, well,
are these jobs that allow a person to have sustainable living? I know what you're saying. Trust me, I get it.
It's 11:59, and we got to continue this on the other side. So we're going to resume this conversation on StreamYard in about 11 minutes. So hang on, and we'll be back. Before we get out of here, I just want to remind you one more time, Stephen E. Boyd, 216-526-1297. Thank you, Tristan. We sounded good today, and we owe it all to you. Thank you for listening. Know yourself. Love yourself. Be yourself. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube Live on my channel. And we're going to continue our conversation with Chanelle R. McCloud, the teacher wellness guru, in just a few moments. Thanks for listening, y'all. Peace.